So 5 years ago, we released our first really beginner-oriented board. It's called the Onewheel Pint, and it's become our most popular board and one of the most successful light electric vehicles that is out there, period. Now, this was all about making really like the least expensive product that we could so that people could enjoy the Onewheel experience. And riding Pint is awesome. And today you can do it for $750, which is unbelievable. So many people enjoyed that it actually made us wonder, okay, like let's push this experience a little bit. Let's add some range. We made the Pint X, right? Pretty much the same exact board, and really took that Pint experience and allowed you to go places, right? You're not as limited, go get coffee, go commute, explore your city. Now, Pint X is awesome, but we have been wondering if we pushed the Pint experience to the absolute limit, how awesome could it be? And that's where the brand new Pint S comes into play. This thing is absolutely awesome. It is like the sports car of the Pint lineup. So now that there's 3 boards in the Pint family, it's a pretty valid question. Which one is the best beginner board for me? And I think it depends on how you want to use it, how you want to ride. So I'm going to break that all down. Let's start with the Pint. All right, Onewheel Pint. So when we launched Pint, we introduced a whole suite of features that were new to the Onewheel world that are now pretty standard. So that's going to be your light bar, which is a visual representation of your battery and some other alerts on the top of your board there, as well as simple stop, which is an easy way to dismount the board by just leaning backwards. So Pint's got all that. Now, Pint gets 6 to 8 miles in range and goes up to 16 miles per hour. And I would say if you just want to experience what it's like to ride a Onewheel, that pure joy, a little wind in the hair, mess around, Pint is great. Pint is amazing for that. You know, if this is a gift, this is for a kid, Pint's gonna get done, and at $750, it's an insane value at that price. If you're trying to do anything more than that, if you're really trying to go places or commute or explore or adventure, ride off-road, you're really gonna wanna upgrade, both in terms of that range feeling a little bit limited for you, and also that speed feeling a little bit limited for you. So for those reasons, you would probably want to upgrade. So let's upgrade. Pint X. Okay, so Pint X, the major thing here, really similar platform to Pint, but it actually goes almost twice as far. So you're getting 12 to 18 miles in range, which all of a sudden opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Whether you're commuting, going to get coffee, or what have you, you all of a sudden feel unrestrained in terms of how far you can go. So that's the major thing with Pint X. In addition, Pint X goes 2 miles an hour faster than Pint, 18 miles an hour. Now, earmark that, because with the Pint S update that we'll talk about shortly, that actually gets bumped. But up until 2024 of September, Pint S went 18 miles an hour as its top speed. Pint X, it's zippy, it's snappy, feels great. $1,100 is a really compelling price point for this as well. It fits anywhere, just like all these Pint boards do, in the trunk of the car or in your dorm room or under your desk. The only thing is, we always knew that if we really invested in creating like the ultimate Pint board, there was still a little bit of meat on the bone. So let's upgrade once again. Pint S. Okay, so Pint S was all about just taking the Pint experience and making it as ultimate as we possibly can. This board has everything you need to not only be a beginner rider, but also advance to become a really competent one that can have fun in all kinds of terrains and situations. So what we did with Pint S is we invested heavily in the firmware. That's what controls the ride. And we just pushed all the knobs up and juiced this board to the max. It's more powerful, it's a little torquier, it's zippier. It also has tons of rideability improvements. If you're riding through chatter, if you're going off drops, if you're going up curbs, like every single riding scenario, we just tested the heck out of it and fine-tuned it to be performance-oriented in every situation. It is the Pint dream. Now, it's important to mention that that firmware update will also be available on Pint X's. All the R&D on the software side that went into the Pint S will also apply to the Pint X. So Pint X owners, we got you. That's a huge win. But there's a couple other things about this board that make the ride that much more next level. So let's talk about those. The first thing that you'll probably notice is that we have a treaded tire on this board. But not only is it a tread tire, it is a performance tread tire. And what that means is that it's a softer durometer. It has thinner sidewalls. And if you're new to Onewheel, that matters a ton, because the thinner the sidewalls are and the softer the durometer are, the more it's gonna absorb vibration in the road, chunkiness. If you're riding off-road, for example, it's just gonna eat all that up. And on pavement, it's gonna offer a lot of passive stability. So it's actually gonna feel more stable, particularly at speed, than our standard tire. This is a massive, massive upgrade. That comes standard on the Pint S. The other thing that's a huge deal when it comes to the Pint S is that it comes with the Pint flared foot pads stock as well. They're 15% bigger than the stock foot pads on Pint and Pint X. And they also have 15% more pressure sensitive area. So they're gonna go ahead and it's gonna be easier to engage these foot pads as well. Altogether, with the wider foot pads, the bigger sort of deck platform, the softer performance treaded tire, and the firmware, you're cooking with gas on this little guy. Not to mention, it comes with the Mag Handle Pro Standard, which is the rubberized metal handle upgrade. So if you kitted a Onewheel Pint with everything you want and had the ultimate performance tuning on it, it would be this. I would highly recommend it. Now, the other massive thing that comes to Pint S is the ability to use custom shaping in your Onewheel app. So with your Onewheel app on Pint S and Pint X after September of 2024, you will be able to customize all kinds of settings about how your board rides, and it's super cool. So if you want to make your ride feel looser or tighter or change how it responds on different terrain, you can do all that on the Pint S. Okay, so in summary, if you're trying to figure out which one of these you want to get, I would say if you're trying to use these strictly as a toy, messing around in the parking lot for a kid or as a gift, Pint is $750. That's awesome. If you want to really go places and expand your limits a bit, Pint X is great, $1,100. Same firmware as Pint S. You're missing some of these key hardware upgrades that are going to make that riding experience even more next level. And if you are thinking that you might ride off-road a little bit, you want to have the most fun, you want the most dialed riding experience, I would go all the way with the Pint S. This is the one I would probably recommend the most. It's the best. If you're stretching yourself just to get in this game, $1,100 or $750 makes sense too. So I hope that you found this valuable. Drop a comment below if you have a piece of advice for any of these new Onewheel owners. And hey, we appreciate you for coming by. We'll see you out there. Now, as a reminder, as of the release of this video, Pint X has not gotten the Pint S firmware update. That'll happen in 2 weeks' time. So if you're a Pint X owner, hang tight and you will be getting the performance that we developed with the Pint S firmware. That will happen soon. And hey, we're super stoked to be able to offer that to you all for absolutely no cost, and your board just got better. So let's go for a ride. That's great news. Okay.